Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Word Up. We'll have a really brilliant episode coming up for you. Well, I think so anyway. If you're a wee bit easily turned, you'll love it. Trust me, it's going to be brilliant. This week we'll have Luke Mcgibbon coming on again. And if you're wondering why so soon again, it's because Luke is fucking a gag. And I absolutely loved it. We got a load of good feedback about the episode with Luke Mcgibbon, and I wanted to have Luke on again. So if you are up for it, do us a wee favour, actually. Go on to TikTok and Instagram and follow who is Luke Mcgibb. You'll get to see his comedy. He puts up wee parts of his comedy set so that you can have a look-see at some of the stuff that he's done. But he also makes really funny skits as well. So go on, check it out, have a wee look. And also, if you want to come and see any of my gigs, I have a few coming up. I'm always forgetting to tell you about my gigs. So here it goes. On the 19th of August, I'm up in Crumlin at the Fiddler's Inn for a charity gig. It's PIP. So for PIP, if you know about PIP, Suicide Awareness, come along for the crack. It's going to be a brilliant night. They've actually sold out before, so if you want to get your tickets for that, make sure you get in early. I'm in the Boiler Room on the 31st of August with Paddy McDonald, my good mate. We're doing 2 gigs that night, so come along anyway. Don't come and see both of them because you'll just be listening to the same lyrics, but sing along if you know the lyrics. I'm also on PB's, The Moy, on Saturday the 26th of August with Sean Walsh. You know your man that was on that Dancing on Ice celebrity thingy-majig? That's going to be a really, really good one. So if you can come along to any of them, get yourself over. I love you millions. Thank you for joining me. Like, share, and tell your wee granny I was asking about her. Thank you.
Okay,
Hello, everyone. Welcome once again to my favourite, Luke Mcgibbon. How are you?
Oh, here, don't tell people I'm the favourite. All the other guests are going to feel all hard done by. Do you know what I mean?
Ah, well.
Do you do that with your kids? Do you go, you're the favourite?
I actually do.
Do you know?
No, I do. I know. I don't know whether or not this is acceptable to do, but fuck everybody's opinions. I had 4 kids, and I shouldn't have done that either. Don't.
Do you say that to them as well? Do you say that to them?
Sometimes.
I shouldn't have done this.
Shouldn't have done this.
Gesturing to the kid.
I immediately regret this decision. That was me in the delivery ward.
Yeah.
I'm only joking. Yeah, it's not true. I love them all. I really, really do. Absolutely fucking do, because they're hilarious, but they're bastards. But I do tell them all individually that they're my favourite.
Oh, individually. Yeah. What that's clever about that is that you're putting them against each other. Then you make the others strive.
I don't even
Darwin
know
thing
whether
going
or
on.
not I'm trying to put them against each other, or I just want to give them all that wee bit of, instill that wee bit of confidence in them all.
For sure.
But like I go to them, I love you so much, you know. And sometimes I have went, you're my favourite, don't you know that? And then I'll go to the next one, you're my favourite, don't you know that? But it means that they all get, it's only bad if you're only saying it to the favourite.
Yeah, that's true.
Like if you say it to all your children, then all of them are walking about there going, I'm mummy's favourite.
Absolutely, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
You're building them all up.
Yeah.
And it is kind of weird when, as a parent, you have to give like wishy-washy answers to questions like that. Like, am I the favourite? You're like, well, you've all got different strengths. It's like, nah, not
it's
that you're
like,
not a
who
politician.
the fuck is the real favourite?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, it's Barry, isn't it? Or he's going, it's Kai, isn't it? You know, they're all
no child
like,
called Barry is the favourite of anyone.
Yeah, God love him.
No one has ever cried out the name Barry during sex.
I have. That's what his dad was called. But you want to know something? I actually, after I had, Barry was supposed to be Barra.
Right, well, that's
Right.
different. That's different.
As Gaeilge, and it also was nice because he's Barry and Bronagh call him the Irish Barra.
Yeah.
And whenever he was born, he just looked the absolute double of his daddy. It was just, and it was cute because it was like, he's wee Barry, and everybody to this day still calls him wee Barry. But here's the thing, after I had him, and I was in really bad postnatal depression after I had him. Long story, but whenever I was coming out of that, I remember a friend sending me this funny meme.
Oh yeah.
And it said, what sort of woman goes through 9 months of growing a baby inside her womb, all those hours of excruciating childbirth, just to look at that baby boy and call it Barry, right? And I was like, I immediately withdraw back into the depression. But no, he's a cutie. He really suits it.
Aye.
He does.
He looks like a Barry, does he?
He does.
See, to me, Barry's drive trucks, surely, don't they? They drive vans.
Barry. Yeah, but I think of it now as a real Irishy name.
I feel like Barry's wear polo shirts.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Polo shirts and buses. That's what they're all about. That's what,
And they play golf.
Yeah, right enough. They're like
Barry?
really into it. They're really into it.
Barry had an accident at work and it was his fault.
Right enough. Here, you never see those adverts anymore.
I loved those adverts.
Aye.
In fact, I ended up talking on a Reddit thread recently about those ads because it was about somebody having an injury at work, and then someone said about what advertisements do you not see anymore? Sorry, different thread. But it was like, what advertisements do you remember that are stuck in your head? And there was loads, like, the washing machines live longer with Calgon.
Bounty as
Bounty.
well.
What
The
was
stronger
Bounty?
soaker upper. Bounty.
No, I don't.
No, it was
remember
that was when Bounty was the underdog in the kitchen roll business.
Yeah.
That was before Regina Blitz fucking took the crown.
Blitz, yeah. What the fuck is the crack with all that shit being so expensive these days?
That's
Why
good quality.
does it cost to remortgage your house just to get a roll of kitchen roll?
Yeah.
It's like $5.50 and all for one. You're going, who the fuck do you think you are?
Sometimes if I spill water on something, I just destroy it. Whatever it is, I just break the table. I'm like, nah, I'm not drying that up.
That'd be 50p to clean that up.
Yeah, it'd be cheaper to get the table, bro.
Yeah, get a new table. But yes, so I was saying about that, and there was this guy that was like, yeah, those adverts, because I had said, does anyone remember the adverts where it was like, I had an accident, and there was a woman and she had like a lisp.
Aye.
And a really big fringe, and she was going, I had an accident at work and it wasn't my fault. And somebody actually said, please, I'm trying to find it, but someone remade that advertisement with a voiceover of her, and it was,
way.
I had an accident at work and I fell and seriously broke my fringe. It's just like, please find it. Like,
I know what you're talking. That was some French too, is that?
it really was.
Do you know what
Started up here.
It's always.
It was like a fucking helmet. It was like,
It always seemed like really improbable as well. It'd be somebody like a woman in a business suit, but she falls off a ladder. It's like, what are you doing up a fucking ladder? Getting a fucking holding the binder or something at the same time. It's like,
you're going,
mate,
what the fuck? You shouldn't
brought
have
this
been up
on
that ladder
yourself.
anyway,
Yeah,
you dick.
yeah.
She wasn't even at work. She just decided to call in and criticise some unsuspecting workman. Fail. Do you know what I mean? Being a Karen.
This may be a bit cruel of me, right? But the people in those adverts, they always did have a bit of gimpiness about them, didn't they? There was a certain gimpy vibe. You're like, well, you definitely fell. You look like you can barely walk.
Wet lettuce. Yeah,
Aye.
she looked like she had a really weak handshake. You know those people that shake your hand and makes you feel dirty?
Aye. But then the opposite is the people who shake it too hard. What are you trying to prove?
These people, Curtis was actually talking about this recently, my husband, and he was saying how he can't stand men that are like aggressive handshakers.
Aye.
Because he was like, they're just trying to prove their masculinity by like
Before you even
breaking
talk.
your fucking hand. So he said his tactic is when somebody goes to aggressively shake his hand, he just lets his hand go limp.
Aye.
And I was like, so I'm not the only person you go limp for. I'm only joking. But he was like, I just go limp and just then they look like a dick because they're just standing shaking your hand.
Aye, shaking the
I'm
limp
not in
hand.
competition with you,
What I compensate with affection, because there was a comic who used to do that as well. He's gone now, but he's alive. He's alive.
Is he alive?
Gone but not forgotten.
You made him disappear.
He's never been seen again. He's in a ditch somewhere. But
You
but
sure
he would
click
fucking
your hand too hard one day and you just like
Yeah.
Chuck Norris him.
You could tell he was going to do it because he was one of those guys who did like a run up to the handshake where he goes like, he swings his hand in. You're like, what the fuck is it? And so what he would do is when he would take my hand, he would take it really hard, and I wouldn't go hard back, but I wouldn't. And so what I do is I put my hand on his. And then like both hands on his, like affectionate, and then I put the other hand on his shoulder, and then I tongue kiss him. But no,
you look him in the eyes and go, "You don't need to hurt me, man. It's okay. Who hurt you? Who hurt you in your life that you need to do this to people?"
You become a complete power bottom.
Yeah,
You're like out
power
loving
bottom.
him.
The power bottom supplies all the movement. The power bottom's using all the energy here.
Yes.
The power bottom is
What's a power bottom? I thought he said power battle.
No, power bottom.
What's that?
Right. It's bottoms, obviously. Yeah, a bottom in sexual terms.
Oh, like in a gay relationship.
A person
bottom is
to
the person.
receive, yes. And a power bottom is somebody who's supplying the movement rather than the giver. Like, and everyone takes turns.
Right, so they're getting it, but they're supplying the movement.
Yeah, in my head, everyone takes turns.
I do that.
Yeah. Sometimes I'm like, I'll take a breather. You do the,
do the work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a relay race.
Yeah. Passing the baton, so to speak.
Oh yeah, the baton, the meaty baton.
The meaty baton, the Frankfurter.
So yeah, the power bottom. So you're like providing the upstroke of the handshake.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, because it's a game of rhythm, the old sex, isn't it?
I can't
you can tell I'm
imagine.
good at it because I call it the old
The
sex.
old sex.
The old sex.
That's like somebody who gets it all the time.
Yeah. It sounds like somebody who had sex in the 1980s. Like, the old sex.
I remember it well.
Oh, back in our day, sex was all made of bricks.
Yeah. Back in our day, we had sex and this was nothing but fails.
Our vulva had a fireplace of its own.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you know those people that are all like, bring back the bush? And I am totally with those women.
Sure.
You bush your little thing all you want.
I leave it to the person.
Do it. You know, it's grand, but yeah, I'm not even going to get into that.
No, I
because
think you should.
It's a controversial subject.
Okay, you got a strong position on it then.
I just had somebody who tried to shame me for not having a bush, and I was
Really?
like, but I'm not shaming you for having a bush.
Yeah,
Do you
yeah,
get me?
exactly, yeah.
I was like, I mean, you go do that. I mean, I can see dandruff on your fucking shoes, but either way, you do you.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you will be doing you because nobody's going to want to do that.
Yeah, it's
What
like
he's like-
before you go down on them, you have to go.
I always imagine that scene from Scurry Movie where he gets like the chainsaw out, he's going with the head
classic,
trimmer.
classic, absolutely,
Ooh, I mean,
absolutely.
have
A bush
by
tucker
all
trial.
means. Here's the thing, and I'm going to say this on the podcast. I did a wee bit in the pavilion before, and funnily enough, I never did it again after that. I mean, it got a laugh,
nothing.
but then I felt
keep-
ashamed of myself after. For the overshare, which whenever you're on a wee roll and everyone's laughing, you go, yeah, I'm going to continue with this story, and then you end up just feeling really awkward for yourself, even though people are laughing, and it brought me right back to school where it was like they're not laughing with you, they're laughing at you, grown up. And it was me talking about how I just don't have anything down there because I'm a twiddler.
A twiddler.
Yeah, like I would sit and
you
twiddle
twiddle
the
it?
hair.
All right, so
here.
do you do that with your pubic hair? As well?
If I had it there, I would be like,
They'd be like, why is this person masturbating in the GP reception
you're
area?
not. You're just sitting making a wee cone out of
I just forgot to bring my phone, all right? I just forgot my cup and ball today.
my cup and ball. You showed up spell tree.
Yeah. Yeah, who's this Victorian ghost here?
Let me actually think of what the word was that they wanted you to spell, that you thought they wanted you to spell.
yeah.
Hold on. What was it? Look.
It was really simple too. It was embarrassing. I'd done some fucking biggies and then they hit me with this shit. Like one syllable, mate.
Tell me.
Caught. But he said it with an English accent. He went, court. And I was like, give me a definition. And he went to seize. And I was like, well, like,
court?
you can get seized in court. I thought I thought it was stupid, but I was like, well, he's clearly saying court.
I still think to this day we should start a petition. Like, to have Luke reinstated.
Yeah.
You should be allowed to go and join all those little kids again.
Yeah.
And just
Well, they're all adults
take
now.
up where you left off. No kids now.
Oh, put me again. Yeah. Have all these like wee 11-year-olds and then a full-grown 32-year-old man.
Is Luke
just
Mcgibbon
fucking-
smarter than a 10-year-old? No.
I can tell you the answer now. Yeah, I can tell you the fucking answer now.
Yeah, I can't. We were talking about their kids, weren't we? We were talking about like.
Aye, just before recording.
Yeah.
Aye.
About like,
You're done.
I'm done.
Are you getting them tied? Or are you?
Do you know, I asked for, whenever I was going in to have the fourth one, a tubal ligation or a T-leg.
What's that?
It's the short term that doctors use for tubal ligation. But after I had heard it so many times, I went in and I started talking about T-legs, and they were all like, "Are you in the medical profession?" And I was like, "No, I've just had so many babies that I could practically deliver one now." But yeah, I ended up not going for it, and but I really should.
Do you know what though? I mean, like, there's too much pressure on the woman to get their tubes tied with this.
Man,
Anyone?
get the lead taken out of your pencil.
Well, don't use that metaphor. It doesn't make it sound appealing at all. I mean, men get their tubes tied, isn't that it?
Yeah, but you know, like even whenever Curtis was talking about, you know, going and getting the snip and all, he was like,
The snip too.
So
You sound like you're taking off the tip.
Sounds terrible, doesn't it?
Does it really makes you? And the lead
useless.
off the pencil. You're gonna be left with a stub.
Yeah, he was like, I'll have to do it whenever, you know, I have 2 weeks free to rest and recuperate. And I was like, you're just getting a wee fucking minor operation. And he was like, I didn't believe
the existential
you
problem of
in
it.
for your surgeries. And I was like, yeah, but I was having full abdominal surgeries to remove a human being from my body cavity.
Aye.
You're getting in for a wee fucking I've had dental surgeries that are more invasive than that, you know.
Emptying the ammo from the cartridge.
Yeah. See, I like that. That.
Emptying that's
sounds
manly.
a bit. That sounds
Jamming your ink toner.
Jamming the ink toner.
There's no cyan. You just take out the cyan, then you can't print nothing. You know.
Cyan sounds like you're taking out a woman.
It does actually.
It sounds like a sex change operation.
Yeah, it's up there with
I'm going
lasagna.
to have the cyan removed, and from now on, I will be known as a soul.
But I was thinking of getting my tubes tied. Sure, we know a comedian who's got his tied. He did a bit about it, so I don't know if he probably doesn't mind us talking about it.
Who is it?
Aaron Butler. Yeah, he's and like people are always like, why? And he's like, I want to, you know, just like
Does he
that's
have
pretty
any
good
kids?
reason. No,
That's fantastic.
He's just like he knew what he wanted, and like
I think Sean Haggerty has.
Sean Haggerty has
I think
done
he's been
as well.
toying with it, hasn't he, or has he actually done it?
No, he did do it.
Fair fucks to him. Fair fucks.
He
They say
did
I heard they say it's reversible, but it's actually and it is, but it's like really hard to do, and it's actually unlikely to succeed. They said they don't.
The reason I didn't do it was because they were like, you can. Now it's more invasive for a woman, but they were like, no, I'm just letting you know that if you have it done while you're having a cesarean section, the success rate is around just under 90%. And I was like, so what? You're going to do this, and then I'm going to end up with all these fucking babies anyway? No,
just
thank you.
just 10% of a baby
I'd rather
each,
just
just
play
very short
with
babies.
fire. Do you know what I mean? 10% of a baby, a wee leg comes out like 9 months later. Here,
Yeah.
you need a spare one.
Yeah, you have like 10 little wee one leg babies.
Yeah.
They're just a pair of eyes and a foot.
Have a wee ball with them. What we're talking about, I'm thinking about doing a feature every week where if anybody wants to write in and tell me, like give you his homework, try and use the word of the week in a sentence.
Ooh.
And then come back and you tell me if you use the word of a week in a sentence, and if I call it out online, I will actually send you a Word Up mug. And I am very aware that I haven't sent everyone their Word Up mugs yet that has asked for one, because I'm a lazy bastard, but also I didn't have a car there for ages and I just had so much on. But now that I have, I've set the date, Monday. Tell you a lie, I'll do it tomorrow.
So what if somebody asks for one from Indonesia?
One from Indonesia? Fucking hell, wow.
From Indonesia.
That's where you're getting them made, is it? A wee sweatshop?
You can send me your posting and packaging.
Wee
if you
poor
live in
kids just painting your
Indonesia.
face on a mug.
Indonesia.
Here, though, you were talking about
Yes, getting
homework.
people to do it. So
Enter
Sean.
Sean.
Enter Sean.
So the word of the week last week, I believe, was malapropism.
It was.
And a malapropism is when you use like a phrase or something, but you intend to use a phrase, but you get it wrong.
Yes.
You word it incorrectly.
That is right.
It's the perfect word for this podcast as well.
What was it? Yeah, I was talking about something that happened in the cold, and I was going, I swear to God, it just gets under my nerves.
Yes.
And I just used a malapropism.
Yes.
It's like, what the hell's a malapropism?
Yes.
And I was like, well, let me tell you what a malapropism is.
Yes. So you used it twice
Yeah.
in the one sentence.
In the one sentence, but there was another time as well. I said something. I think it was something my dad said, and I was like, my dad used a malapropism.
Yes.
Because dads are hell for
Malapropisms.
Oh, they love it.
Do you know my ex? I'm very fucking proud of you, by the way. In fact, I'm going to get stickers made that say I used the word of the week.
Yeah.
And I'm
That's
going to
good.
send you a fucking sticker because adults don't get stickers enough. I want a
It's true.
sticker when I go to the dentist. But you know, it's brilliant, like being able to tell your dad something. Isn't it? Like, they never believe you. They just look at you like you're a dick. But it's great to be able to go, actually.
My dad's lovely, and he's like a proper humble guy. But I would never.
I would expect nothing less.
I would never want to. I would feel weirdly gross if I ever outsmarted him or something.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know what. Like, have you ever won an argument with your dad, and then they just sort of they back off, and then you feel. I'm hearing that too. I think
You won an argument
this
with
cable?
your dad
I'm
and you backed off?
yeah. Well, no, because he backs off because he's like, okay, and then I felt weirdly like gross. And I was like, I'm never gonna.
Would you
I'm
come
never gonna
back
do
in
this
and
again.
go, do you know the way I said malapropism meant that? It doesn't even
doesn't
mean
actually
that.
mean that, yeah.
You know, like you would be the type of person, you'd have a baby and somebody'd go, that baby's gorgeous. And you go, they're all right.
Don't give it notions. Don't give that baby notions.
Don't be giving it any. You'd be giving
I'd
it a
get
big
my
head, and it was already fucking hard enough for her to get out.
I'd get my tubes tied immediately if somebody said that. I'm like, well, no more.
I
No
love
more.
the way
It's
you
limited
keep saying
edition.
your tubes, and I know men have
Yeah,
tubes,
I got
but
tubes.
I keep imagining your
Tubes
ovaries.
coming out of me. Nah, your balls are filled with tubes.
Speaking of malapropisms, YouTube.
Big ball
Yeah,
tube.
your big sperm glands. See, my ex, and I know I've. He probably doesn't want me to bring this up, but he was so embarrassed. He was talking to somebody before, and he meant to say, "You're a wee lifesaver," and he said, "You're a wee lightsaber," right? But I started going, "Zhong, zhong, zhong," and he was like, "Will you fuck up, please?" Can you guess we're not around each other anymore? But yeah, I was just, he was a really awkward person, and the fact that I pointed that out, I know he's still 3 a.m. moments when you wake up and you go, I said lightsaber instead of lifesaver.
Aye.
But today's word of the week, do you want to hear it?
I do.
Right. Today's word of the week is
Valetudinarian.
Valetudinarian.
I just plowed in and I
You
just
really
hoped for
did.
the
I
best.
love it.
You know what? I'm, obviously as a previous hard spell champion in waiting.
In waiting, yeah.
You'd think I know it. I don't. But I'm obviously right. A tudinarian is somebody who does a lot of valetuding.
Right. Yeah.
But what is a valetudin? And I'm thinking, well, what's a valet? So a valet is somebody who helps you drive your car places. He's somebody who helps you with shit. So a valetudinarian is somebody who probably goes around helping you a lot.
Well,
No.
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 The reason that I picked valetudinarian was because whenever I am not very prepared for the podcast, I will just come off with a word that I actually do know and haven't researched beforehand. But I remember being introduced to this word in upper sixth in English, believe it or not. And it was while being forced to read Jane Austen's Emma, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Emma's father.
Which is the worst Jane Austen. It's shite.
Can I just tell you
Dog
something,
shit book.
actually? This particular teacher, lovely as though she was, that was the leather, by the way, not me farting. Hold on, let me try and do it again.
Oh, yeah. You ever try and, you have to duplicate the fart noise so people know, and then you just can't?
You should do that, but right?
Yeah.
Make the leather noise and then take that opportunity to actually fart.
Yeah.
Right? To go, see, it was the leather, I can do it again.
Yeah. You just do a full shit in that moment.
Just shit your
See, it's the leather. It's the leather.
Yeah, it's the leather.
These are leather stains emerging on my trousers.
Leather smells. Yes, so my English
From a brown
teacher
cow.
was like, I didn't read it. And she said, why didn't you read it? And I said, well, I started to read it. And then it bored me. And she was such a lovely, really, really nice lady. One of those ladies.
Yes.
Who's just really nice.
A teacher that you make cry.
Yeah. Oh my God, I did make her cry
Did you
before. Yeah.
Badge of honour, mate.
Not purposely, but she did cry. And she said, but I absolutely love this book. This book is a work of art, and why don't you give me one good reason why you don't like it, Bronagh? And it was one of the best reasons I've ever given because I actually had a bit of knowledge.
Okay.
So I went to her, well, miss, the first lines of the book are Emma Woodhouse, handsome, clever and rich, with very little in her 1 in 20 years to distress or vex her. I was like, I can't fucking relate.
Yeah.
Didn't say fucking.
20-year-old
I can't
problems.
relate to this woman whatsoever. She's had a blessed life. She's rich. She's gorgeous. I'm sitting here with a fucking pizza face and only 50p in my pocket when it's 70p on the bus home. Like, seriously. No. Right? I ended up reading it, but it was shit. And I can say to this day, Jane Austen, fuck you. Right?
It's a very rich people problems book,
Yeah.
Emma, isn't it?
Like, it was just, oh my God, will he marry me? Won't he marry me? Fuck off. Like, seriously, get on Tinder. You're fine. But he was a valetudinarian, her father. And a valetudinarian is someone, now you've heard of a hypochondriac.
I have.
And a hypochondriac is someone who constantly thinks that they're sick.
Yeah.
A valetudinarian is somebody who is terrified of becoming ill. So they're really, really worried all the time.
The worst roommate for a hypochondriac ever as well, isn't it? It's like, I think I might be ill. It's like, is it contagious?
Yes!
Yeah.
Is it contagious? I don't know, but it took that contagious to come off that. But I'm terrible, Muriel. But yeah, that would, imagine. There's a sitcom in itself, a valetudinarian and a hypochondriac.
Yeah.
Living together.
Sick and twisted, so you call it.
Sick and twisted.
I don't know, sick and nah. Anyway,
but I thought to myself, I'll do that word because I know what it means. And you know, I have a fear. I wouldn't say I'm a valetudinarian. I'm not one of those people that's terrified of getting ill with everything. But I do genuinely have a relatively new fear.
Ooh. That's exciting.
A new one. You can still learn things. You can teach an old dog new fears. I went on holiday for my sister's wedding, and on the way home, we all got unbelievably violently ill, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, to the point where I thought that I was dying. Like, I wanted the plane to go down because it would end the way I was feeling.
Yeah.
So it was the end of the season, and because Jeeper get married at the end of the season, and
is it?
I don't think so. I just want to say that because she'll hate me. Probably is. But we were staying at this hotel, and the only thing I can think of is that, like, it was all inclusive. So up until that, it was absolutely beautiful, no complaints. But on the last day, they must have just been putting out food, like, because they didn't want to make, like, other food. Something happened. We got violently ill, food poisoned.
Oh,
and
the wedding too.
Yeah, there was actually a couple of people the night of the wedding that were staying at our hotel. Now, it wasn't the wedding hotel. She stayed in a really fancy, nice hotel.
Aye.
They were fine, right?
Yeah.
It was us, the EasyJet.com quick deals, those people. We got sick, and Curtis was ill first the night before, and he thought, you know what, it's over me. So he took advantage of the all-inclusive breakfast and horsed all sorts of stuff into him. And the best part about it was, I was like, I'm not even going to bother because, like, you know, you guys got sick. I'm not going to do it. Turns out this thing came back for more because Curtis ate everything. And he was like, Bronagh, as we were getting on the plane, the baby vomited all over my shoes.
That made him immune. That's how he survived as well. That was a wee vaccine.
He was sick all over my shoes. And it was the one time that I actually dressed up nicely to go to the airport to go home. I don't know why. I think I was a wee bit skinny at the time. So I was like, yeah, I'll be all right. I'll look nice coming home. And I had checked my bag. So I had to go and get changed because it was all over my trousers and everything or whatever I was wearing.
Oh,
it was a jumpsuit.
I thought you said he was sick over Curtis's trousers.
No, over mine. He vomited all over me.
Jumpsuit as well, man.
And it was a jumpsuit.
Oh,
so all I could do was put on... I had to take off, I was wearing like a pair of high wedges, and I had to take off the jumpsuit and put on Curtis's shorts.
On the plane, is this?
In the airport, getting on
the airport?
Getting on the plane.
Aye.
Kurt's shorts and like a wee dressy top. That was all I had. So I just looked like a fucking reprobate.
So you showed up as Posh Spice and you left as Ace Ventura.
Yeah, that's what I was like. Yeah, oh, shitey then. So I was like, right. And then I started feeling a wee bit ill, and I was like, Kurt, no one if you actually look at someone and they look a bit green.
Aye, yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's how he was, and I knew that's how I looked, and I was like, I don't feel very good. We were literally walking the plank to get on the plane, and he went to me, just hold it in until you get on the plane, because they'll not let us on if we're vomiting. I was like, right, okay. So we all get on the plane with the kids, and we were in the air, and I was like... Just so happened that my Aunt Camilla, the fucking legend herself, happened to be sitting, pure chance, in the spare seat in our row.
I can't believe you've got a Camilla in your family as well.
Yeah. Do you have a Camilla?
No, not so. But no, I just mean like in the Westies. It feels like a very English name.
Oh, she's lovely. No, she's not English. She's a proper Irish woman.
Right, it's got a few fadas in it.
Yeah, Camellia.
Yeah.
No, but she has a bit of class. Like, you know, she's married into the family, God love her. But she was sitting next to us and she was totally cool. She was my saviour that day. But I started, oh my God, like, I'm going to be sick. I'll not do it because once I break the seal, that's it. And I turned around and looked at my wee son and he looked up at me and went, Mommy. And I went, what is it? What is it, kid? And he went, Mommy, I thought I was going to do a fart. But it's all poop. And I was like, it's okay, son. I think the same things just happened to me, right? So we ran down the plane together, and you know the bulk bags? I was like,
Yeah.
give me bags. I was sitting on the toilet going, it was the most traumatic fucking thing. You've heard of snakes on a plane? It was shakes on a plane. We were terrible. Meanwhile, Curtis is sitting over in the other seat, just, you know, adjacent to me, and he had the wee one, and he was just, they were both sharing the same sick bag, vomiting into it. Me and Barry, then Kai was just sitting there completely fine, like, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with all usings. So now I have a genuine fear of even just going on holiday in case I become ill.
Right.
I haven't been away since it.
Serious?
Like, it was terrible. The air host actually saw us walking down the aisle for like the 50th time and just opened the door and stood like that, stood away from the door like, please go in, and just kept handing us the sick bags. Like, it was terrible. He was going, what did you eat? And I was like, can't even talk. You know, like, you know, with Armitage Shanks. I can actually draw that from memory.
You can draw the wee porcelain pattern on the old ones as well. Like, just
from like looking at it. So yeah, that's my story. I am now.
You're now Valetudinarian.
A Valetudinarian. Terrified. Absolutely terrified.
You're good with these words, man. I can see why you started. Do you do that thing? I read this thing that Eminem apparently does. He sits when he's on the toilet. He sits and reads the dictionary, or he reads the back of a cereal box.
Oh my
God. So he's just learning new words all the fucking time.
I used to read the back of the shampoo bottles
way,
and
serious,
stuff.
yeah.
So you used to sit, see if I, you know, back in the day whenever you didn't have phone, and if you couldn't read your mum's, like, fucking your ma's woman's own or something. My ma did crosswords, so it was just used to be like, and she also said a lot of crosswords whenever I spent too much time in the toilet. But I was sitting there, and I used to like lift up the shampoo bottle and go, oh. You know, whenever you just need something to read to distract you from the fact that you're dilating.
Yeah. I can see the head.
Put it this way. Butyl phenol.
Yeah.
Sodium lauryl
No
sulfate.
fucking way. You remember this is great.
From the back of the fucking shop. Parfum.
That stuff's probably all banned now as well. It's probably like, it's probably an EU commission on probably gives people diarrhea
Cancer.
or something.
Something. You'd be like, why is this tumour growing out of my neck? I don't know. Stop sniffing that shampoo. Like, it's woeful. But I used to love reading the dictionary as well, like looking up dick. So, I mean, it wasn't exactly, you know, the brightest kidding. But, you know, like looking up to see what words were in it.
Oh, mate, there was a buzz in my playground when someone found sexual intercourse.
Oh, my God.
And I was like, well, first of all, 2 words. That feels like cheating, doesn't it? But they're like, fucking look at this. And then there was people in my ear started telling me that they'd had it. And I was like, you're it, mate. Like,
you've read it.
You've read it. Yeah, you've probably seen a picture, you know. Actually, no, we didn't have access to the internet, so you'd find magazines just in a hedge or just off a bloke back then, you know what I mean?
What was it with the magazines in the hedge?
I know.
I've seen
Yeah.
You're at all time.
Do you know what people just? My theory is they didn't want to put it in the bin in their house in case somebody found it. So they're like,
just
into the hedge,
into
texture of a poppadom, you know, the whole thing. But
texture of a poppadom.
you know what, that's not even my joke. That's not my joke. I just realised I
all the
quoted a
pages
Ronan
stuck
Linsky there.
together.
Yeah. Again, you have to go before you.
Yeah, before you lift it, with cubes everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, if that was a crime, you would get so much DNA and find out.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, it would be. But
seems like this criminal drank a lot of water.
Mommy, why are the pages salty? I'm terrible. Nuts magazine.
Oh, there was nuts in that magazine. I'll tell you that.
I didn't have that for women though. There was nuts in that magazine.
You know what I mean? There was never like soft core stuff for women, was there? There was like either full on like. There was Playgirl, wasn't there? But that was like full on dudes with their dicks out, wasn't it?
Was it?
I think. Well, it'd be top shelf shit. The teenage girls wouldn't get a.
Women get that. You know?
I don't know. They should have.
I remember reading Ms. Like Ms used to be, and if you were really like you got to about 15 and you were a woman of the world, it was More magazine, right?
More,
because it was a bit smutty.
Oh right,
you know? Because I remember reading like Just 17 and Ms going like, how do I kiss? You know, like whenever you hadn't had your first kiss, and I see those wee sections like Dear Deirdre. I used to be looking at them genuinely looking for
advice.
Hints.
Fucking
you used to be like, please, somebody just tell me how to kiss so I don't make a dick out of myself.
Make sure you bite his lip as hard as you can. if he bleeds, he's loving it. You know, like
men
it's all
love it when you eat
fucking
Wotsits beforehand.
Yeah.
Would that be brilliant to actually give a bad advice column?
Actually, well, I mean, they're indecipherable from the good advice column, but yeah. Spit in his mouth.
Spit in his eye. Give him the pirate. That's whenever you come in their eye.
Yeah.
Kick them in the shins. So they go, ah!
Yeah. Make sure you make him as anxious as possible so neither of you can come. I used to have that. Loads of guys have it, and nobody says it, but loads of guys tell me, I just don't come, and it's like, well, what do you like? Do you know what? I'm fine now, but there was like a period of my life where I was not coming having sex, and like, and I was fine with it because I was like, you know, cold pizza's still pizza, but but do you know what? The way I overcame it was.
Excellent.
The way I overcame it was it's kind of unethical. Is I started lying, right? And I started faking orgasms, right? And so I would just tense my kegels and make a couple noises, and then I'd run away with the condom as fast as I could. Probably put it in a hedge, even as you're saying.
Yeah.
But like,
I don't want to disturb you with my
condom.
ejaculate.
But, and what I would, and they'd be like, "Well, why are you still hard? Why are you still able to go in?" I'm like. I started telling this lie that I'd learned how to have multiple orgasms from the internet, because you can apparently if you practice a lot.
Sting's all about.
Yeah, and so I was like feeling like a fucking stud whenever I was really just like numb dick. You know,
I'm just numb inside. I just can't feel human compassion because I am too anxious to actually love and be loved.
And so without the pressure to come, suddenly I was able to come, and they're like, "Do you want to go again?" I'd be like. Actually, no, I'm good now. I'm not able to do that anymore.
Yeah.
I stopped doing my whatever it is practices that Sting does.
Oh, you get caught out then.
It
was like, oh no, I'm all right.
Getting old.
I can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's fucking genius.
It's not ethical though, is it? Tell fibbies
that guys are the same as women in that a majority of men, when they have sex for the first time, don't actually orgasm.
Oh yeah.
Like I thought that guys just loved it. And
the first time you have sex it's not good for anyone. Like not for you, not for the person, not for the 32 people watching. That's pretty normal, isn't it? But like, it's a fact finding mission more than anything, isn't it? It's just
where does this go?
What's this like? All right.
What does that do?
Let's go home. Let's put on a film.
How much do you owe you?
Bless me, Father, for I've sinned.
Yeah. Can I have my Mars bar now?
It better be fucking jumbo Mars bar as well. You don't want to get shafted on that. Well,
as long as his is only a miniature snack size.
Yeah, I want miniature heroes.
Go on.
I want a tub of them. If you're gonna give me anyway, but
yes,
I'm giving away too much. But and so was I. But how do we get here? I'm talking about dudes not coming. What I heard about this is that it's a nerve ending thing for some reason. Some of them are gripping themselves too hard when they wank, so they call it the death grip syndrome, and so you lose a lot of nerve endings in there. That's one theory, and then I can't remember what the others are, but that's the big one. It's probably a lot of pressure as well, isn't it? You're like, you better last long, all that stuff.
Guys have a lot of performance sort of anxiety, don't they?
Sex as a whole, it's better when it's hilarious, isn't it?
Yeah. See, the thing is, like, I'm so glad ridiculous that I'm sober now, but in a way, I'm like, thank God that I'm married and sober. Because if I was single and sober, I don't think I could do that whole like awkward. I don't know. I'm not saying that all the sex I've had has been drunken, because I can't remember. But like, it's just like, how do you even go there with somebody and be like,
right.
I guess it's time. I'm not going to do that thing where like I go and put a pair of fishnets on, think I'm gorgeous. Do you know what I mean?
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with thinking you're gorgeous?
I need the confidence. I need a wee bit of social lubrication.
I know what you mean. No, like sometimes it's like just even the idea of it is like, oh, this feels too vulnerable. This feels too like I already have the self-esteem boost of knowing that you want to have sex with me, so I'm gonna leave and like
chalk that up as a win.
My mate Alan had to tell. Right, because I went home with somebody years and years and years ago, and then when I got there, I just got this feeling like I don't actually want to have sex. Like they're lovely and all. I don't know. It feels too vulnerable. I don't know them well enough, and so I left. And I didn't really give a good reason. I just made a really shit excuse and left. And like I'd been steaming. She went into the bathroom. We had a shower, and you just left a note on the condensation on her. Pray for Luke. I'm sorry, I can't. Don't hate me. So like I was just, and you know what? It was a very mixed signal because beforehand I was steaming and I was like doing a striptease on her table and all because I was really steaming.
Yes.
And so she asked my mate, "Is Luke all right? What happened?" And my mate had to lie because the truth is too weird, which is just I didn't want to. And so he said, "Luke has problems getting an erection."
Oh my god!
And so
He's like, I did money in parachutes, so I just.
I was like, I'm fine with her believing that.
Emasculated myself.
Absolutely.
Are you fine with her believing that?
Yeah, sure, fuck it.
Just like, I'm sorry, I had Brewer's droop.
Brewer's droop. That's great.
Brewer's droop. No one ever come home and they're all fucking.
That's great.
Yeah.
I love that formula for a title for something as well. Xers Y, isn't it? Like fucking Baker's turd. I don't know.
What's that?
No, I'm just making shit up.
Brewer's droop. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you could.
So
aye.
what could it be then? Say.
And I feel like sex moves as well. It's always a nationality and then a thing, right? So it's like I heard because people would be like a Dutch oven, you know, that's the fart one, isn't it? Yeah. And then there's one that somebody told me in school. I'm certain isn't really. You can tell me if you've heard this before. Russian avalanche, right?
What?
So it's when you come in someone's face and then you push them down the stairs.
A Russian avalanche.
Yeah.
Why in the face?
I don't know, actually. Yeah, I don't know.
I would have thought a Russian avalanche would have been like, I'm rushing at you. You know what I mean?
Your rugby tackles.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't know.
The British bulldog, kick him in the bollocks and throw him out of your country.
Yeah, you plant a flag in him.
Yeah. You're just like, no, the fucking is.
Put them in the museum.
I was British bulldog. I dragged him home from England. Like, you know.
Yeah,
I don't even want to go there. I'm like, well, that's not what your other people say from where you're from. These love Ireland. Sure, come on over.
British bulldog is when breeding you should be illegal because you keep harming children.
Yes. Oh my god, that's me. Only joking. Oh, we need to make up. What are your favorite There
things.
are,
sexy things.
Tell us, I love the names for them though. There's some really random names.
Oh yeah.
Like there used to be one that we heard of. Go, you've just thought.
No. I'm thinking of one that doesn't exist because I used to find all these on Urban Dictionary and like sometimes because you know you're young, you browse Urban Dictionary, right? Normal,
Yes,
right?
All the time.
I
I still do. Why does it have to be a young thing?
It's how I fit in with the youth, or sorry, the
kids.
my peeps.
Yeah, my homies.
Peeps is so gone.
My
isn't
they
it?
thems.
My they thems. That's still there. That's not going nowhere.
The politically correct. The they them.
The they themins.
But you know what? In Ireland, lads is like.
Do you think that's a general? I think so.
Lads is
Come on, lads.
like either or.
There's a German comedian who lives in Cork called Daniel Lucas, and he's great. But I really just love in his set, because he's still got this really thick German accent, but he's like developed a tick of saying lads all the time. So he's like, "Come on, lads, this is what we're doing, lads." It's great.
Oh my god!
Schnell.
I love whenever people from like anywhere else in the world come here and then they pick up little like Irishism.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, there's wee words.
Like they're talking. Like Curtis does it. I remember the first time he ever said "I."
Oh.
He looked like he wanted to just leave the country.
And
That was probably to do with me, but he did. He turned around. He caught himself on. You know the way. Well, that's another Irishism. Catch yourself on. But he did. He caught himself on saying it. I went, "You want that?" And he went, "Aye." And then he like sort of choked on his own words, and then looked over his shoulder to see if anybody's seen it. And I was like, "I fucking heard that."
Other countries love that shit though. I knew a few Americans and Canadians who picked up the word "we," you know, a wee thing.
Yeah.
I'll just go out for a wee drink, and like they fucking loved that. Whenever they caught themselves saying that, they were singing graffiti on the wall. Afterwards, they were fucking chuffed to bits. You know,
I used to work with we used to get like a lot of like international students, you know, like doing like volunteer years and stuff.
Yes.
So there would have been like ones from like Germany, Canada, and stuff like that.
All the Americans come over to do peace and conflict studies.
Yeah. They're all doing dissertations on trauma.
And the like by the end of it, they'd be like, "Happy days."
You're Bellix.
Or like my German mate, he would always like, I still keep in touch with him.
Do you?
And he'd answer the phone and he'd go, "Oh mate, melted."
Melted.
You got to keep an eye on them though, because they'll end up on the shankle and they'll be like, "Do you ditch?" Chucky Arla, my friend.
Ditch? Yeah, there's one over there. You're about to be buried in it. And you can't. I remember being on the Falls Road actually as a kid, and there was this guy. He was like Scottish, Okay, so really far away. He should have known better.
Oh, yeah,
They love a
Scots.
good bit of sectarianism as much as we do.
Yeah, they're as close to us as
But he was in a big lorry, you know, one of those big 18-wheeler lorries, and he was delivering something, and he pulled down the window. He was like, all right, there, lassie. I don't know why he was Shrek, but he was like, can you tell me what the Shankill Road is? And I was like... He's on the falls. He has no fucking clue.
He was on the falls?
He was on the falls,
Fuck
but
me,
I
man.
remember feeling sorry for him because I was like, and this was this was only like 1998, 1999,
It's
so
still
he's
tight,
still
like.
very high chance of you getting that burnt, right?
Aye, yeah.
So he was driving down and he said it to me, and I was like, I wonder, does he remember this wherever he is? Because I like looked around me and like
He did die,
like
so it
an
doesn't
about
matter.
to be murdered prostitute off an American film, stepped up to the big lorry and went, mate, don't ask anyone else around here where the Shankill is, okay? And he looked at me like, you know, nodded and everything. Like I was like, a man's taking me seriously. I was like, so you go down there and you try to send them up a fucking weight rock. Only joking, you actually
He is never seen again.
never to
Slow,
be
going,
seen.
"Where the fuck is this place?"
Yeah. Oh my god.
Wild.
Yeah. It's just like he has no idea.
Oh, he's dead. Like,
That's really
He's
like
gone.
he's one of those people. What do you do in your spare time? Bungee jump with no rope. You know, like extreme sports. I just thought he hasn't a clue. But it just I'm kind of trying to find that in like comedy that I've been writing recently. I've been like, I'm sick of doing sort of the same thing, right? And it's not like I said this to you before.
Aye.
But I was thinking about doing stuff as well that it translates across the water. You know?
Sure, yeah,
It
yeah.
isn't just because sometimes I think, I hope we're as fucking funny as we think we are. Do you know what I mean?
we are, though. We are. Anytime I go across the water or down south, maybe, you know, very different standard, I find. Right? I mean, like, obviously a lot of our jokes don't travel, you know, but the stuff that does,
But neither do we,
fucking
so
bangers.
it's okay.
Yeah. Aye. But whenever we go down to Europe, as I call it, you know, down south.
Yeah.
But it's
The land of the free state.
yeah, bless myself as across the border.
Yeah.
I think very different standards over there, and I do think the strength of our stuff travels. But I know what you mean, though, because like there's a lot of people would say about the scene here, like, oh, it's all just green and orange stuff. And a lot of people say that haven't been to clubs. Like, it's nowhere near as bad as it was 10 years ago. Like,
Yeah.
it used to be the entirety of a set, whereas people now they have a few in their set.
Sometimes you just
crowd
have
work
to,
mostly.
you have to broach the subject just to get the feel of a place.
Yeah, it comes up in crowd work, I think,
Yeah,
more
that's
than
it.
it does in material.
People like we laugh at it at the beginning to get it over with.
Aye.
Like sometimes I go, you already know what I am. My name's Bronagh. I'm a big take. That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
100%. And I think, like, you know, like, laughter's a psychological defense mechanism, you know. You use it to cope with things that are difficult to talk about. If it's still getting laughs here, it's still relevant to people's lives. And so
Yeah.
there's people who are like, we should entirely move on from that comedically. And it's like, if it's still getting laughs, it's still relevant.
Yeah.
You know, it's you have to be afraid. You have to watch out in case you end up indulging yourself a bit in snobbery.
Yeah.
I think, but
Oh, don't go for the low hanging fruit.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, you know, fruit has fiber in it.
Yeah,
Fruit's sometimes
yeah.
good for you.
Good roughage.
Sometimes you got to reach for what you can get.
I
you
like
know,
a bit of roughage.
You. I like a bit of softage.
Do you
I don't know what that is.
I've
Probably.
realised that, see, because I do so many podcasts, well, I actually have been a bit selfish recently in doing my own podcast and that. But
Is it selfish to do your own podcast?
Is it selfish? But I do like on other people's podcasts. I'm doing Shane Todd's podcast
Happy
this week,
days.
and I love that. But I think as well, I do enjoy banter, right?
Aye.
Banter crack.
I like it. I'm just not very good at it.
I enjoy I think that I can kind of fit in with anybody, like whatever your channel is. I like to sort of fit in and have a bit of crack, whatever you're comfortable with.
Aye.
And that's like really good. But it also puts me on this. I have to almost wish I had a decompression chamber after, because sometimes I could be talking to my kid's teacher and be like, yo,
Right.
you know, and you have to go, no, you have to turn off from that. Like,
You need to activate a sub personality. You need to activate someone
I
else.
have to stop being myself around
Yeah.
these people.
Do you know what though? Maybe it's good to be a fully integrated person who's similar in every interaction, rather than some sort of fucking, you know, transforming person. You know.
Yeah, like the telephone voice, Maz.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
yeah.
whenever you speak to the doctor doctor.
Suddenly they're from Hollywood.
Yeah, they're going, Bronagh, will you pick that fucking hello, doctor?
100%.
I feel as though I have a bit of a migraine.
Migraine.
Migraine. What's the crack with fucking Nigella Lawson though? She absolutely turns me, but at the same time I can't stop watching her.
What's wrong with her?
It's the way she knows. It's the way, the microwave. That's exactly what I was thinking about.
Yeah.
Sean and I are on the same microwave length, I'm telling you. But see, Nigella, it's not even the fact that she does do sexy things. It's the fact that she knowingly does them.
Aye.
It's like, you know, people who, like,
Oh,
it's
it
not
feels
funny
inauthentic.
if you're deliberately acting stupid.
Aye,
right?
aye, yeah, you have
but
to be
the way she
genuinely
looks at
stupid.
it, and she's gonna, like, she comes down in the middle of the night, full face of makeup on, fully dressed in this negligee, to eat a half a fucking spaghetti brownie or whatever it is
Yeah.
she's made. I'm convinced she's stoned.
The equivalent for me would be showing up in like a tux to
Yeah.
eat a slice of ice cream or
Yeah,
something.
in the middle of the night.
Yeah, in the middle of
You know, when you're just
Which
walking
looks
down
creepy.
the stairs holding your silver spoon.
That looks really creepy. So, like, what if you turned on the lights in the kitchen in the middle of the night and I'm sitting there at your table eating some ice cream
Just
wearing a
eating.
full-on tux?
Going, how the fuck did you
Is
get
it-
here?
Yeah, I'm like, got a dress to impress, mate. Whenever you're having some cart door.
You live 5 miles down the road.
Yeah.
How did you get in? Your
You're
window
another-
was open.
Aye, Maud's was closed. So
Yeah.
that-
Mods. It's the way. Hi.
Maud's a banger, mate.
Mods, yeah, but
Absolutely.
it sounds so Belfasty too.
Oh, it does.
Mods.
Yeah.
If anybody has ever seen anything that I do, well, you probably every set I always throw in the thing about fucking Fosco's. Fosco's ice
Fosco's
cream shop
on Woodstock.
is better.
That's
No.
the-
On
no?
Andersonstown Road.
Oh, I know. Yeah, the Anderson. Aye.
Fosco's, I want sponsorship, by the way, because do you know something? Fosco's ice cream shop gets a shout out in
Aye.
every fucking set I do. It's the best ice cream shop.
I'd be on this every week if you're getting sponsored by Fosco's.
In
If
the
they give
world.
us a few scoops.
Fosco's, if
Few
you're
wee
out there,
scoops.
I'm actually, do you know what?
Woodstock
Fucking
Road one's
tag
good.
those people.
The Woodstock Road one's the one that Stephen Nolan always takes his mat to.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know
Stephen Nolan goes to the one in Woodstock.
Ah, yeah,
Does he
yeah.
live next door to it?
He's it's
Because I once lived
100%.
next door to Fosco's and I ended up, no joke, having to join Slimming World in
Oh yeah,
like 3.5
I would kill me. No, I'd be dead in a week if I lived next to that place. It's like it's one of those places. Well, it's like it has opening times in Google, but it's just whenever they feel like it. you know?
Yeah.
It's 100%.
And it's Kai Shungli,
Like,
you know.
yeah.
It's like Kai Shungli.
Yeah,
Okay,
Kai
I
Shungli.
hear you.
Yeah.
See people that go into
fucking-
those shops though, like Fosco's, that has all the delicious ice creams. There's like
Aye.
about 30 different ice creams, and I mean they come off with Harry Potter flavour.
Yeah.
Tastes like salt because he cries over his parents all the time. Right? But it's like Harry Potter, chocolate
Harry Potter's
orange.
my favorite.
What one's your favourite?
Favorite
Harry
ice
Potter.
cream?
Harry Potter's your favourite?
Is it actually real?
I
thought
like
you were
Harry
just
Potter.
taking
It's
the
like
mick.
bubble gum, but like a different.
It's bubblegum mixed with strawberry, I think.
Yeah, it is. It's
Okay.
something like that. And then they have
mixed
like
together?
unicorn
It's purple.
shake. I'm only joking. I wouldn't be surprised. But see the person that goes into Fosco's
Aye.
and orders a plain ice cream.
Yeah, who's doing that?
Vanilla. And do you know what? The vanilla doesn't even really taste like vanilla. It's just plain milk
Some
ice cream.
places they put a real effort into their vanilla.
Yeah, they
do you
put
know
like
what I mean?
Madagascar and vanilla. No, but somebody went in before and ordered the big tub, which is basically like, an ice cream tub. It's like £7 or something.
Aye.
What flavour do you want? Vanilla? I just looked at him and went, I bet you his wife is buried in the fucking, in the garden. Like, they are an actual psycho.
Think of people who go to KFC and order them rice boxes.
Yeah, what's the
You're like, ways.
what are you
up.
doing
I
here?
know.
What
There's
are you
no
doing?
brands over there. We're standing in the same food court.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you want to be healthy, you could have went there.
Why don't you
could've
just
went,
eat
yeah.
some white
I mean-
bread with no butter on it? Like
You fucking
that person's
psychopath.
never had an orgasm they haven't immediately apologized for.
Yeah, and anybody who goes to KFC and orders beans instead of gravy is a fucking just irresponsible person.
That's it. I'm leaving.
Do you?
No, do you know what? I'm not a big gravy guy, and I fucking hate beans. Don't know why.
Do you?
Fucking love tomato sauce. Beans, no. See, kidney beans, banging. Suddenly you put some tomato on it, and I'm like, I'm
Wouldn't
like,
have beans on
My
toast,
kid's
no?
like
Yeah,
that.
no,
he has
no,
an
no,
actual
no.
fear
no, I'm
of beans.
Yeah, serious. The
doesn't
fear.
like it?
I don't have a fear of it, but I'm just a bit like, what's the deal with that? I don't
can't
like. I
stand
look at
them?
them and I'm like, what is this mess you've put before me?
You-
I get real abusive.
You
Apparently, when
really,
I-
you're just like looking at. Is that why you had the black eye the other week? 'Cause you said
also,
dessert?
like in this scenario, I'm making somebody make beans on toast for me. The most like it's something that's incredibly easy to make, like straight from a
What
tin.
would like a word for being like afraid of beans for? So something phobic.
There is
Beanophobia.
there is
a word, isn't
it's
there?
like, well, it's like a pulse, isn't it? There is a word for somebody who is
Pulsophobia.
terrified of beans.
Heinzophobia.
Heinzophobia.
Nah, I don't know.
Fartsophobia.
That's a whole other thing.
I absolutely love it. Do you want a bath of beans? For charity, you don't give a fuck. But I actually, that reminds me, do you want to hear the dirty word of the week?
Yeah.
Yeah. Dirty word of the week.
I'm horned up. I'm ready to go.
He's horned up and ready
Of course.
to go. Go.
Sorry.
Tell us.
Legumophobia.
Legumophobia.
Of course it is,
Of course
right.
it is.
It's
Magic
a
legumes.
Yeah,
legume,
right.
yeah.
Here, yeah, whole legumes. That means
Je suis le légume.
that means like you show someone a lentil and they're like, oh, you know, it's like, fuck.
Jesus. Y'all motherfuckers need Jesus. We need a soundboard.
I bet this one needs that needs Jesus. I've seen that word before.
Have you read it out?
Coprophilia.
Oprophilia.
So that is somebody who's big into shit,
Yes.
but in a sexual way.
Yeah.
I used to think it meant eating shit as well. I thought it was people who were
What's
into
it?
Some people do.
Coprophilia?
coprophilia.
Is in like 2 girls, 1 coprophilia?
Oh my God, yes! Yes, Sean, you give yourself a broom. Yeah, I remember actually the first time I ever seen 2 girls, 1 cup.
I haven't actually seen it.
I've never seen it.
Have you? Don't ever. I didn't watch it of my own accord, by the way.
description's enough, really, isn't it?
It was a male friend of mine when we were younger was like, "Have you ever seen this?" And I was actually on my way, like out of the room, and I just looked over my shoulder and went, "What are they? What are they?" No. I actually physically vomited. And I have a pretty bad gag reflex. Like I'm easily turned.
Aye.
But whenever I threw up and then got told off for throwing up in his room.
And then they threw up.
I
too,
thought
in the
that
video.
was just absolutely one-off, some absolute fucking header. And then I learned of coprophilia, that people, and it's like, or also
that video
known
was
as
made for somebody.
scatophilia.
Yeah.
I'm a scat man. Right? But
Yeah.
there's this podcast called Fuck's Given.
Fuck's given. Not heard of it.
Right, it's a really good podcast. It's these 2 girls and they basically
Anything that Aiden given?
The what?
Fox given? Is he anything that Aiden given?
Aiden given. I'm done giving a fucks.
I've done the Aiden and Kevin.
It's these Florence and Reed.
That's what you say when you're a power bottom. I'm done giving.
I'm done giving. I'm going to Derry instead. Who's he? Yeah. So it's these 2 girls, and they basically have a podcast that's all about sex.
Oh, I thought you meant the 2 cups, the 2 girls, 1 cup girls.
Oh, no.
I would listen to a podcast with them.
They have a new guest
more of a
on every
watching
week,
podcast,
and
isn't it?
they don't kink shame, so it's all about not kink shaming, and they talk about fetishes.
Good on.
And there was a person that went on their show. He's from London, and he's also known as the human toilet. Right?
Weirdly, I think I've heard of him.
The human toilet. You probably have taken a shit on him before.
He's the worst member of the Fantastic Four.
The human toilet.
All the
Feeling it.
theatrical releases.
Director's cut. Yes, he's
director's
feeling a bit
pinch.
flushed. Yes. Oh my God. I'm imagining him getting pissed on a night out. But he does.
His scene got waved.
Brilliant! Oh my God, bleach straw. I'm terrible. Right, I'm actually getting terrible jokes like here.
Sure.
Giving terrible jokes.
Sure,
should I say.
sure. That's how you get good jokes.
Just for the
Loving it,
record,
loving
Sean
it.
has actual tears, and the human toilet has actual tears. But yeah, he goes out. He is absolutely in love with scat. And scat
Play them.
play.
Just being
So
honest
he
about it.
loves people, but he has a wife. He has a wife, you know.
I wonder what her diet's like. No.
Oh my God.
What's she eating?
Well, do you know what she does?
What?
She actually does, like, if she's eating something during the day at work or eating something really, she will not go
She'll
to
text
the
him.
toilet.
Right.
She'll text him on her way home so that he's like lying on the floor with like his
Does he-
whatever he needs.
Does he
So
send
she-
her a picture of the Bristol stool chart every morning and be like, I want to type 3 tonight. I want it to be
Is
lumpy
there
and
a
hard to
stool
pass.
chart?
Oh, here now, Mcgibbon were talking about this in their podcast the other day, so I don't want to just duplicate it. But they're like, that's what doctors use to sort of, it's a rough measure. If you Google image search it, there's about 5 or 6 different kinds of shite.
Will you throw it up
And,
on this screen?
absolutely. There's like and like
Absolutely not.
and it's different levels of hydration. You know what I mean? And it's like type 1 is the nuggety rabbit one, you know, and then type 2 it's like lumpy but a sausage shape, and then like type 4 is like a fucking Snickers. You know what I mean?
Snickers,
fucking Snickers, mate. But like that's you know, some people are like different parts of the Bristol Stool chart. You know, hard to pass.
Yeah.
She comes into work. From work every day, and she's like, oh, "Love, what's for dinner?" And he's like, "Oh, she's like, oh fuck, chili again."
Yeah. That's what we had last night. Yeah, but you're getting a second hand chili.
Here, go easy on the fucking jalapeno syrup.
He likes
burnt
her,
my
like,
mustache the other
doing
day.
it on his. And do you know what he said? He said he has never gotten ill.
Oh, actually, you know what? That makes a lot of sense to me. All that gut health shit that people are talking about these days, isn't it? You know, you ever hear of like a fecal transplant?
Yes.
Yeah, where like they get someone else's shit and they put it in your ass, and
because
and it's supposed to be really good for your immune system. or something,
it's people have to get it sometimes when. Sorry, my phone's going off, and that's very unprofessional.
That's the human toilet correcting you right now.
Human
So
toilet's
like,
phoning me going.
he sent you the stool chart picture.
Yeah,
is it?
have you eaten that fucking curry yet?
Because we're making assumptions that he likes the same thing. Maybe he varies it
He
up.
likes it, but you know what he also does?
What?
He
It varies the type of shit,
goes
I
to
mean.
nightclubs,
Okay.
right? And like his wife will
The
say
worst
for him,
shits
like,
in the world are in
do you want to
nightclubs.
shit or piss on my husband's face?
I was going to say, like, I would say there's probably a lot of affairs that go on in a relationship. I
Aye.
get sick of the same old shit.
Yeah.
He does, she
I didn't even think that's it.
very good.
That's great.
Sick of the same old shit. Sean, you are on fire, man. Fucking right. Fireman Sean.
See, whenever she like, do they count it as cheating if she like catches him at a urinal looking at someone else or something?
Oh,
It's like,
God.
are you looking at someone else pissing? Are you like
Yeah.
sniffing someone else's shit?
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, yeah.
Bring in the floater.
I saw you watching that YouTube fart compilation. Am I not good enough for you?
He comes home, she's like, let me smell your face.
Aye.
Oh my God. I just don't understand it. I mean,
Same old shit.
do you know what? Say don't kink shame. I'm not shaming him. Not shame on you.
This is kink interest. This is kink curiosity.
I'm just really fascinated.
Yeah.
Like, how
does that get there?
do you get to the stage in your life where you're like, do you know what I would really love right now? A big hot steamy fucking turd.
Turd was the perfect word for that.
Yes,
I think
it
as well.
was.
Do you know, I mean, to me, I mean, just off the top of my head, because obviously we don't know the person, so it's different for everyone. But I think a lot of people get fetishes as a kind of defense. So, like something that's horrible for them, maybe when they're younger, it's like I'll like unconsciously they sexualize it, so it's palatable, you know. So maybe
Literally.
I put salt on it now to make it palatable, but it's
I bet you that would make shit taste nicer though, a wee bit of salt.
it depends what kind of shit you're doing. If you've got a lot of you got a very wet shit, you want to dry it out, you want to pop it in the fridge, a bit of salt on
they do
it.
shit crisps like they put it in the oven just to, like, you know, like those Parmesan crisps?
I use a wee potato peeler and all
Yeah, and just
beforehand. Yep,
Do you
shave
know
it
there's
off.
a thing
Season
called
your shit, you know?
iglooing? Have you ever heard of iglooing?
How many people are turning off this podcast right now? How many people are like, I watch the next one.
But this is fascinating shit.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
See?
Some people are listening to this on the toilet right now. They're
I
like
know.
googling the Bristol Stool chart.
And I know. See if there's blood in it, go and see a doctor. Or maybe lay off the barn brick. But you know. It hurts to laugh.
You ever eat beetroot and do shit, and you're like, "Oh my god, am I alright? Is that a kidney?" Like it's
Yes!
like a
You
proper
go,
red one.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, what is this? What is this? You know? It's always
Oh
beetroot.
my God.
You don't do that if you eat blueberries, you have a blue shit. That doesn't happen, you know.
Smurf shit.
Smurf shit, yeah. I'm talking about Smurf
Like,
dicks
I
the other
just
day.
passed Papa. Papa, are you okay? Do you hear me? Yeah, there's iglooing. Have you ever heard of iglooing?
I've not, but that feels like trapping someone. Because
Nope.
it's an enclosed. Sorry, I was just
I'll tell
burping.
you what it is.
I wasn't thinking deep about it. I was
There
just.
was actually a guy wrote into like a help me column about it, saying that he was at a friend's house and they were all doing like this dinner, and he started moving things out of the freezer to try and make room for some of the dessert dishes.
Okay.
And there was this little vacuum sealed sort of bag that was filled with these long hard, and he thought, what is this? And the guy's partner went over and took it off him, and he said, sorry, they're my husband's. They were in a gay relationship, and he said, they're my husband's. Just let me take those. And he said, I started like grabbing it to see what he was talking about. So he
I
looked,
know what this is already.
and it was condoms that were sealed and in this bag, but they all had
Frozen shits.
frozen shit inside them.
And Mr. Frosty.
So yeah, iglooing is
Shocking.
You got to watch out for a twister. That's the ones you really got to watch out for.
You don't want to get a fucking cornetto. Which end goes in first?
I think a good Magnum.
He's got a feast.
Magnum almonds. That's when you should get checked out. That's the.
What would be
Too
the
bumpy.
worst ace lolly to shove up your hole? In
Um,
fact, I think that'd be rather soothing if you had a terrible case of diarrhea and your arse was on fire.
if you had the
No,
ribbons,
and if you
well.
have an arse like a dragon's nostril.
yeah.
After, like, you're just like, please, no more. Oh, it's like a fucking, it's like a
A
donut.
rocket lolly.
A rocket lolly, yeah.
You know what? Yeah, Rocket Lolly has it has a graded entry, doesn't it? You start with a little bit, it goes up, it goes up. You're by the time you reach the end, you're ready. In
Yeah.
a way.
Probably good for gaping.
Yeah. Well, if you like rotated it as well, you could get a full on.
Yeah.
But that would feel like you're like adjusting a clock, wouldn't it?
My laugh is just getting
12:30,
dirtier and dirtier as this goes on. Yeah. So the
big
igloo
chuckle.
is the same sort of thing. They don't
fair
use an
play
ice
them.
lolly though. They like to anally penetrate themselves with
Right.
condoms filled with poop.
There you go. Here, yeah, good on you. Hey, the New
Not,
Frontiers.
do you know what? Not good on you.
No, here, condom. They're doing it safely.
Can you imagine
They're not
that
gonna
they've
get
got
pregnant.
like shitty finger? How do they get it inside the condom?
I think they pop it in as a liquid, and I was too quick with that answer. I sound like I've
You
done
were.
this, but in my head, I'm a problem solver, mate.
You'd have
You
to
know,
have
I'm a-
some skill to do it directly into the condom, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah,
I'd say
maybe
they
he's doing
probably like do it into a bowl.
Yes,
And then mash it into like a pate.
yes,
And then-
yes. That's why they don't let you cook in their house. You like reach for a potato masher, and they're like, "Don't, no."
Can I just say, getting off this subject quickly to save everyone.
Yeah. sorry.
No, it's me. It is all me.
No,
I'll
it's
take
good crack.
full responsibility.
Sorry.
Shit crack is good crack. But over here we call a potato peeler a
What?
potato peeler.
What?
Do you know that the rest of the world doesn't call it that? It's a vegetable
Just
peeler.
A peeler. Ah, well, potatoes a vegetable, isn't it? I suppose.
Yeah, but because
yeah, that is
we
weird.
mainly just peel spuds all the time.
Aye.
A peeler.
A peeler.
A peeler is a condom. What are you doing?
yeah, you can't just call it a peeler. You don't
Up a
want to.
peelers.
No, APAB.
If you're not on my payroll, I don't like you. I don't have a payroll. I'm fucked.
Aye.
Yeah, so we have potato peelers, but we really do. We love an old spud over here.
Oh God, aye.
And you know, Curtis actually said to me when he came over.
I mean, they don't call it a potato
so
peeler. in the
he's mixed
cockaphilia
race,
house.
obviously, right? So like
Aye.
Nigerian, Irish, English, right? And he said, what did he say there?
I said they don't call it a potato peeler in the igloo house there. It's the shit peeler, isn't it? That's a bag of
That's
crisps.
the shit scraper.
Yeah.
Oh my God, stop it.
But Curtis, you're saying he said.
Oh yeah, he
he's
said
mixed
that
race.
we really. He went. I don't mean to be like racist, but
Brace
got-
yourselves here.
you really are the antithesis of the Irish stereotype, right? Because like you love potatoes. I really fucking love potatoes. Like I get excited. I seen a big truck passing over the bridge in Derry when we were going under it, and everyone else was looking at like this really awesome bird or something, and I went. And they went, what? And I went, look at all the potatoes on the back of it! Right? Like, can you imagine if some of them failed? Some did fall off before.
Ooh,
Whenever we were
gold
in,
rush.
we were in Armagh with my aunt, and a potato truck went by and loads fell off, and we all got plastic bags and picked them up because that was the
Here, yeah,
pinnacle
yeah.
of my childhood.
Yeah,
But,
but not one not.
He said to me, so whenever he came over, he went to me, Bronagh, do you think maybe once or twice a week we can have a meal that isn't like, that doesn't have potatoes, on it? And
Yeah.
I went, oh, is that because of like your Nigerian bit? And he was like, what do you mean? He went, I just want to have some rice. And I went, I'm so sorry. Is that because like your Nigerian part, like you need the like rice? And he went, no, Bronagh, it's just because most people in the fucking world don't have potatoes 7 days of the week, right? I was like, oh.
That is a really good impression of Curtis.
There's
as
no
well. He
need to
does
be
sound like
so.
that.
Oh, do you think so? He will
Absolutely.
hate that because he goes, sounds nothing like me. And then everybody walks up after the shows and goes, take a jerk card. It sounds just like he's fucking raging. But we do like mashed potatoes. Do you have mashed potatoes and roasties on your Sunday dinner?
Yeah.
Because you need the crunch for the cream, don't you?
Yeah. Oh, here, like this is proper. Is it?
What is it,
you going back to the igloo house there? Are you?
Crunchy cream.
You want the crunchy cream?
We'll wrap it up with this, Sean.
Eat
Don't
no
worry.
bourbons there.
Crunch creams are great.
They're bangers.
But yeah, we have that, and we would literally have like mashed potatoes, roast potatoes, all the potatoes, and he goes, "Why do you do that?" Do you know on their
Normal. That's normal.
I'm going to leave you with this. Do you know what they have on a Sunday dinner in England, folks?
I'm gonna do a spit take here. I'm not actually. Isn't my room? I can't do that.
Know what they have as their potatoes? Roast potatoes, and that's it.
Do you know what? I thought it was going to be worse. Roast
They don't
potatoes.
have because they have
I'm fine with
Yorkshire
that.
pudding. They think a Yorkshire pudding.
Yeah,
A Yorkshire pudding does not a mashed potato pile maketh.
No, but it is basically another kind of potato. Surely we'll let them off the hook.
No.
Okay.
I'll never forgive them for that. You can take our country, but
Yeah.
you'll not take our potatoes.
800 years, fine. Potatoes,
Fucking don't mess with the formulae. Right? Mashed potatoes, roast. Try it. You'll love it. And that's all for this week, folks. Thank you very much.
Eat fibre now. Eat your fibre.
Eat your fibre and check that stool chart.